While when it tries to be serious, A Snowy Day in Oakland definitely has potential. Unfortunately, when it goes into a comedy realm, it gets very campy, especially when it comes to Loretta Devine's performance. To summarize the film, Latrice Monroe is either a therapist or a psychologist. I think therapist because we never hear her issue any drugs, but either way, she is a therapist who decides to leave a rather lofty office environment that she shares with her partner Grant. Business partner, definitely. Potential romantic partner as well, even though they seem to not really have proper definitions or boundaries regarding who or what they are. Either way, she decides to leave him and set up a shop on Oakland Main Street. A place where she's very out of place because she still dresses and has the airs of somebody who is not someone who frequents urban areas. Because of that, she definitely attracts everybody's attention. And because, in the way that A Snowy Day in Oakland operates, they do not see the idea that between the pastor who's there and her, anybody's going to talk to her because people don't go to head shrinkers, especially black people in that area. Instead, they go to church or else they keep things to themselves. Yet, as each individual has different issues that come up, whether it's Jesus Salgado dealing with death or his daughter Angelica, I think I said her name without the right pronunciation. Either way, or else his daughter who's having issues with her father, potentially facing his mortality, they end up on the couch. If you want to talk about Jeanette and her issues with her son not being able to see her that much because he's an FBI agent, she ends up on the couch. Then there's Fiona and Davis who were married at one time, but then there was a cheating issue. They do, and it goes on and on and on. A lot of people end up on her couch, and she ends up on her own couch as she tries to face not only her issues with moving from Oakland to Connecticut and then seemingly getting a bit of a history of just dating white boys, but there's also other things that she's trying to process, and that is the heart and soul of the film of as much as therapy is not something a lot of people are comfortable with because, most of us are raised with praying it away, going to church, maybe mental illness being the work of the devil, whatever. When it comes to what A Snowy Day in Oakland shows is that as much as God, angels, and all that can do miracles, at the same time, you're going to have to sometimes associate and work with the soldiers that are put on earth in order to help you along your way. So as noted in the overview, the best parts of A Snowy Day in Oakland is when it gets serious. For when that happens, it allows you to see a lot of characters who kind of can feel stereotypical, and you get a whole different side of them that allows you to understand. While a lot of people, especially people in certain urban areas or the hood, may feel stereotypical, if you really get to know them on a personal level, you would see anything that may seem or be stereotypical is very superficial. Like, for example, Fiona and Davis, played by Kimberly Elise and Dion Cole, yes, they have this bickering couple vibe. They work in a barbershop where he mouths off a lot and then she gossips to a certain degree, but when you go beyond that nonsense and you really get to know them, you learn about their history together and how Davis was Fiona's first love, and then when it comes to Davis, you don't learn why he cheated on Fiona necessarily, but the remorse that is there really pushes you to kind of want to root for them to get back together, even though he cheated for reasons you don't know. And I would even say the way they allowed Dion Cole to open up about his relationship with Fiona, it definitely makes it seem more and more that outside of a comedy realm, he could definitely have a good career. And then when it comes to Kimberly Elise, straight up, if she got the right opportunities, I could easily see her being on Viola Davis's level. But unfortunately, she has not got the right opportunities, so while she's always a welcome sight, unfortunately, it feels like she never gets those parts which allow her profile to get elevated, or the kind of parts that allow her to really shine in a way so that she can be someone who can become an EGOT or anything like that. Switching over to the on-the-fence topics, one of the top issues that we have is that when it comes to this, I feel like it's a little too campy. Some people, of course, enjoy camp, but for me, especially if we're talking about Loretta Devine, it comes to a point where it almost seems like the writer-director Kim Bass, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. It's almost like, even though he was the creator and writer behind Sister Sister, Kenan and Kel, and he did, I think, the screenplay for A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, it's like, even with him having this really good resume, it feels like he decided, you know what, this is Loretta Devine. She's a legend. She's an icon. If she wants to play it big, let her play it big. Just never mind dialing it down so it kind of fits the tone of everybody else. If she wants to treat this like this is a theater performance and play to the back of the theater, let her do it. And to me, it was a terrible thing to allow, but for others, you may find her hilarious. But I think that with her setting the tone of being this kind of loud and kind of obnoxious character, even if she always meant well, as much as I recognize that is a person you would definitely find in an area like they're showcasing in this movie, it doesn't change the fact that the people like her in real life are still annoying people that you wish would just tone it down several levels. The next on-the-fence topic for us is that in terms of Dr. Monroe, it's clear that she has issues. She has issues because her family took her from a very black area in Oakland, where all of her friends were black and brown girls, to a predominantly white area because her father got a good job. It doesn't address how that cultural shift messed with her. It doesn't address how she ended up mostly dating white boys for most of her life and seemingly not having the best experiences with them. It just graces over that. I mean, when it comes to Grant, it acknowledges this specific individual, and in terms of him doing what he did that led her to go on this journey back to Oakland, but unfortunately, it doesn't really dive deep into it. It's almost like this movie wasn't sure what it wanted to be. It wasn't sure if it wanted to be a drama which really addressed these different, perhaps known personalities in your life and, really explore what they are beyond the surface, or if it wanted to be a comedy where there's a lot of joking around and making it so where you're laughing all the time. And yes, you are able to balance a dramedy and a comedy and make it to a dramedy, hence why the genre and the word exists, but A Snowy Day in Oakland doesn't know how to really do or create that balance, thus resulting in a film that feels kind of lopsided at times. And as much as you can praise the dramatic elements of it, the comedy feels, if I was being nice about it, I would say the comedy feels dated, but honestly, most of the time the comedy feels rather flat, to the point where I definitely foresee this potentially premiering on BET Plus or something like that, and if it doesn't premiere on that, I can't imagine it necessarily being the type of thing worth spending $5, $10, whatever, $15 just to watch this specific movie, because it's definitely the kind of film which is more so made to be part of a streaming package than something that is worthy of being purchased or rented on its own.